Yo, what is going on? Yours truly, Delboy here. Hope you guys are doing well. Just a quick recap and review of the Saturday night boxing. We will start with the top rank card very briefly. Jamel Herring upsets Masayuki Ito to become the new WBO Super Featherweight Champion. He won this fight by a unanimous decision, and in my opinion, he was the worthy winner. The fight itself wasn't great. It was very stop-start, a lot of holding, a lot of messy action, but the cleaner quality work was coming from Jamel Herring. He was landing the eye-catching punches, and, for the most part, the bout was being fought to his rhythm. Masayuki Ito was fairly predictable, coming forwards without any real jab, and he was trying to throw this overhand right to catch Jamel Herring, but that shot, for the most part, missed, and Jamel Herring was able to outbox Masayuki Ito in a fairly uneventful fight. Fair play to Jamel Herring for pulling off the upset. Masayuki Ito was a favourite going into this fight, and Jamel Herring in the past has come unstuck at a higher level, so fair play to Jamel Herring for pulling off the upset and becoming the new WBO Super Featherweight Champion. Where does Jamel Herring go from here? I would like to see him unify against the likes of Tevin Farmer, Miguel Burchelt or Tank Davis, but I've got to say, I do believe he would lose all three of those fights. I don't think Jamel Herring is a strong world champion, but that's my opinion, He proved me wrong last night by beating Ito, so yeah, fair play to him. On the undercard, José Pedraza was in action. José Pedraza, of course, coming off a loss to Vasily Lomachenko, but he rebounded last night with a win over Inés Antonio Lozada Torres. Torres actually beat Felix Verdejo fairly recently, so that's a good win for José Pedraza, a good comeback win. And, for the most part, Pedraza was in control. Torres was trying to come forward and apply pressure, but Pedraza was landing the good eye-catching shots. He was landing the harder shots, and eventually those shots took their toll, and Pedraza got a late stoppage. Good solid performance by Pedraza, and he rebounds successfully from his defeat to Vasily Lomachenko. Where does Pedraza go now? I would love to see Pedraza fight Richard Comey or Teofimo Lopez. I think they are great fights, but it's looking like Comey and Lopez are going their separate routes, so whether that can happen or not, I don't know, but, Pedraza is still a relevant contender at lightweight, so fair play to him for bouncing back and, getting a knockout victory. We now move on to the Matchroom USA card on DAZN. The card itself, it wasn't great, I can't lie, but there were a couple of good moments. I've actually done a separate post-fight video for Filip Hrgović versus Gregory Corbin, but naturally I was very impressed with Hrgovic's performance. I was impressed with the knockout, so you can see my video on that if you are interested. But on this card, Michael Hunter also picked up a win. He beat Fabio Maldonado. Fabio Maldonado, he's a low-level fighter. He's a bit of a journeyman now, but he's always shown good durability. He's taken Oscar Rivas for distance and Alexander Teslenko, but Michael Hunter knocked out Maldonado in 2 rounds in what was a dominant performance. Where does Michael Hunter go from here? I would like to see him fight somebody like Carlos Takam, Sergey Kuzmin, guys like that. But Michael Hunter, he's a small heavyweight, he's a bit fleshy, but he's entertaining. He's got a solid skill set, and he comes to fight, and he'll fight anybody. So I like Michael Hunter. I'm intrigued to see where he goes next. Devin Haney was also on this card. He was the main event, and he knocked out his opponent, Antonio Moran, in 7 rounds. Devin Haney in this fight was fairly aggressive. He showed good variety from body to head, good hand speed, good punch combinations, and he was the boss throughout. He dropped his opponent, Moran, in round 5, and in round 7 he ended it with a beautiful overhand right knockout. He forced Moran back into the corner, and he landed a nice right hand to the body. And after that right hand to the body lands, he then comes back up and throws a right hand to the head, which knocks out Moran. I enjoyed that knockout because on the second shot, it looked like Haney was going to go down to the body again, so he disguised that shot very well, but he brought it upstairs and connected with the head of Moran, and that was all she wrote. A brutal one-punch knockout by Devin Haney, and he certainly looks the part. I've been very excited about Devin Haney for quite some time. I've gone on record on this channel and said this guy's a better prospect than Teofimo Lopez and Ryan Garcia. I think this guy is a level above. To me, he's shown me more variation. I've seen Devin Haney fight on the back foot with a jab. I've seen Devin Haney show some good defence. I've seen Devin Haney get aggressive, work the body, show good variety in his punches, and now we're seeing Devin Haney knock guys out. You know, to me, Devin Haney has just shown us more versatility, and I think he's been more impressive in his work. That's just my opinion though. If Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez fought tomorrow, that fight would be very competitive, but I just like what I see from Devin Haney that bit more, if I'm being honest. But that's no knock on Teofimo Lopez. I still think Lopez is a very good prospect. And also just to note, on the undercard of Devin Haney versus Antonio Moran, Daniyar Yulusinov also fought and he won a unanimous decision over his opponent, Luis Norambuena. And I've got to say, you know, Daniyar Yulusinov, again, not looking the best, looking fairly unspectacular and workmanlike. I think a lot of people now are turned off by Daniyar Yulusinov. I don't really see many people who say they believe in this guy. Maybe he needs a step up where he can highlight and showcase his skill set, but right now, I myself am kind of questioning whether this guy is cut out for the pro ranks. You know, some really good amateurs don't make great professionals, and maybe this could be the case with Daniyar Yulusinov. I'm not ruling him out, I'm not writing him off, he's still got a lot of time. He's only, 6-0 or something like that, 7-0, so he's got time, but as of right now, he's not really impressed me to any great extent. There was actually also a PBC card that went under the radar this weekend, and it was headlined by Austin Trout and Terrell Gausha, and that fight was fought to a 10-round draw. Now, I've not seen this fight, but from all of the reaction I'm hearing, apparently Austin Trout didn't look great, and he was lucky to get a draw. Maybe now Austin Trout is coming towards the end of his career. I mean, he's been fighting at the top level for quite some time now. He's picked up a few losses in recent years. He's 33 years old. Maybe Austin Trout now has seen better days. But shout out to Austin Trout, it's got to be said, because the guy's fought great competition throughout his career. He's fought Miguel Cotto, Canelo Alvarez, Erislandy Lara, Jamal Charlo, Jarrett Hurd, Jamel Charlo. I mean, the guy's fought some excellent competition, so shout out to Austin Trout. Likeable guy, good fighter in his day, but maybe now he's coming towards the end of his career, because Terrell Gausha is not really a great fighter, in my opinion. I've seen him a few times, and I've never really been impressed with Gausha. In fact, in Trout's prime, I think he would beat Gausha fairly comfortably. And last but not least, there was also a card in the UK, and it was headlined by Hughie Fury versus Chris Norad. Again, I have already done a post-fight review for this fight. Ultimately, like I said, Hughie Fury, he did what he had to do against a very limited opponent. If you want my thoughts on that fight, check out my post-fight video. I've also heard a lot of criticism for the Hughie Fury versus Chris Norad card, and I've got to say, I co-sign these people's criticisms. I mean, it was a terrible card. You know, the quality of this card was awful, and putting that type of card on Channel 5, does it do boxing any good? I mean, I doubt it. Do you think that card created any new boxing fans last night? I very much doubt it. I appreciate Mick Hennessy. You know, he doesn't have the resources he once did, and his stable is very light, but, you know, you've got to be doing better, unfortunately. But it is what it is. Not a great card. Hughie Fury got the job done. If you want to know my thoughts on that fight, check out my post-fight review. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Just a quick recap of the weekend's boxing. Peace.